Hello everyone, Mavadat here. I hope you're doing well. I'm recording this video because I had a bit of an interesting experience that I wanted to share and talk about a little bit. The other day had a conversation with, I was on my way home and I had a conversation with a Mormon girl. She was standing out in the street giving out pamphlets, and since I had time I stopped and talked to her, and partway through the conversation, I asked her why she believed in God, and one of the reasons that she gave me was that one of the reasons I found most interesting was that she said that she had had a personal experience of God, that she had felt God in her own heart, and that's what convinced her. And I thought this was interesting. So after our conversation, I actually spoke with my atheist friend about this to see what his response would have been. And what he said to me was that she was delusional, that basically she was lying to herself, she was lying to me, that she never really experienced God, and she was just making it up, basically. And I don't know, I don't know about you, I don't find that kind of account for someone's personal religious experience very convincing. And I don't think that the religious person would find it convincing either. To call someone delusional when they feel like they've had a real experience, or call them a liar, it's just going to turn them off, I think. So I thought I would provide an alternative account that's less facile and maybe more convincing to a religious person that might actually account for their religious experience. The account that I would give for the religious experience is, well, it's based on a little experiment, and it's based on the power of the mind. This is an experiment you can do yourself. I want you to imagine, if you'll do this experiment with me, a man, in another room, let's say in your kitchen. If you're in your bedroom right now, there's a man in your kitchen, and I want you to imagine this person sitting in one of the chairs in your kitchen, waiting for you. Imagine the man is about 5'10". He's thin, older gentleman, dressed nicely, clean-cut individual. He's a librarian, and he's waiting for you. He wants to talk to you. He wants to talk to you, let's say, about your favorite book, the latest book that you just read. And he's in the kitchen, he's waiting for you, sitting in the chair. So if you imagine this man sitting there waiting for you, if you really imagine him, you'll begin to actually think, your body will actually begin to react in such a way that you'll think that he's there. Now, your brain, obviously, you know that you've just imagined this thing, but your body will have an experience of the anticipation of waiting for this man. And I think this is very similar to the religious experience, because see, I don't know how many of you know this, but I grew up in a religious household. I prayed. I was sincerely a religious person, and I felt like when I was praying that I was also feeling God in my heart, present with me. But when I started doubting, that feeling faded, and I realized that what I had been feeling was my own sense of hope that there is some greater being listening to me, waiting for my questions or concerns, wanting to answer them, sincerely wanting to help me. So what I realized was that I was feeling this hope, this anticipation that I was creating myself, and that was sufficient to account for what I thought was God. Now, does that mean that there isn't a God? No. but it does account for the experience that I was having, and that's what I'm really seeking as an agnostic, atheist, secular person, is an account for the religious person's experience, because just to deny it flat out, I don't find that satisfying. I think this explanation is very similar to a trick that I once saw a magician do. The video is on YouTube somewhere, but I don't know where right now. But what the magician does is he cuts and eats a lemon on stage. And at every step of the way, he's narrating to the audience exactly what his experience of cutting, smelling, and tasting this lemon is. And the audience, at the end, the magician asks the audience, how many of you felt like you were biting into a lemon when I bit into this lemon? And of an audience of about 300 people, I would guess, 90% of the people raise their hands and say that they felt like they were eating a lemon too. And this just shows the power of the mind in creating experiences, real experiences of imaginary events, of imaginary things. And I think this is very similar to and accounts for what people call the religious experience, the experience of God. What we're seeing here is, in effect, people experiencing their own idealization of God, their own imagination of what God would be like if he existed or she existed. And the human brain is so powerful that it actually generates an experience to correspond with that image that people have of God, and it produces that feeling that they get. So anyway, I thought that that was an interesting and more satisfying answer to the Mormon girl who I was talking to. And that's actually what I said to her, and she thought that was pretty interesting also, that kind of made her think. Then I thought that was a more satisfying, intellectually satisfying answer than the one that my atheist friend gave me, which was just that she's delusional. So I hope that you've enjoyed that explanation that I've given, or if you have your own explanation, I'd love to hear it. Thanks.